Okay, here is the tutorial for PhysioEx Lab 2. So Lab 2, the first one we complete for Lab 2 is Exercise 1, Activity 4. So I'm jumping straight to the experiment for you here. So the first thing we do is put this over here. Increase the sodium chloride, urea, glucose, and charcoal to 5. And click dispense. Okay, start. Okay, next we bring this over here, start analysis, next, record data. Okay, so then we want to go over and record this into the data table. Now, like we saw in Lab 1, sometimes there's extra information here that we don't need. So let's look at the data table and see what we need. So we need filtration rate, filter concentration, and membrane residue. So now we can look back. So filter rate is 1. And that's going to be the same for all of them because that's what it was set at over here. Then we have filter concentration, happens to be 0 for all of them. Membrane residue happens to be present for all of them. So then I would put the filtration rate, 0, 0 for all of these. And then I would write present for all of those, and I like to shortcut and copy and paste when I can. Okay, and I was playing with this earlier, so you notice how this one is centered in blue. Generally that is what I would probably do just to make it look nicer. You don't have to do that. I just like things to look nice and neat, and I like the answers to stand out. Okay. So let's keep moving here. So it says to put this back, flush it, and then we move on to the next one. Same thing, 5 for all of them. And dispense. Start. So we're going to move this over here. Record data. Alright, and let's scroll down. So now our filtration rate's 2.5, and then we have sodium chloride has a 4.81, the rest are 0, and they're all present for the residue. So the filtration rate was 2.5. Sodium chloride was 4.81. Present, I think I still have it copied here, although I'm going to copy these all now because they were all the same, like so. Okay, so you just continue following the procedure and filling in that data chart, and that should be pretty straightforward. I don't think there's any tricks to that one. So let's move on to the next exercise. So the next one is activity 5 under exercise 1. Now this one I'm just going to show you briefly because it doesn't even have a data table. So you just carry out the exercise, the experiment, and answer the questions. I did notice there is a typo in the instructions. It says on over here on the lab report. It says follow steps 1 to 21 in the lab manual. It should be 1 to 29. And it's not really the lab manual, of course. It is in Mastering in the PhysioEx Lab. You follow steps 1 to 29, and then you'll do the record data just like you normally do, but you will just be answering the questions rather than actually recording data onto the lab manual. So let me just show you what it's having you do. Is you're setting, and this confuses me sometimes because I try to do things too quickly, so make sure you pay attention to what side it's asking you to do things on. So sodium chloride, it's got you putting, where did it go? 9 on the left, and it's got you putting 6 of potassium chloride on the right. And the ATP is up here. And then you click start. So that's basically the things you'll be adjusting. After a few steps, it will have you increase the pumps to 800. It took me a minute to find where that was, so that's over here. When it asks you to do that, you'll be increasing the pumps over here, or I think later in the experiment it'll have you increase the glucose somewhere over here as well. So it just takes a minute to locate these things to adjust, but just follow the instructions, and the questions should be fairly easy to answer, but let me know if you're having any confusion on that one. So let's move on to the next exercise. So that one is a little bit more involved. So this one is exercise 2, activity 1. Okay, so make sure we're in the right spot. Okay, so it says the voltage set to 0, click stimulate, record data. So that's our first data set. Voltage is recorded as 0, active force 0. Again, there's extra information that we don't need to record. Okay, then we're going to increase the voltage to 3. Click stimulate. Next, record data. Okay, that's your next set of values. Voltage 3, active force 1.04. And that's all you're recording. Next, clear tracings. Next, increase voltage to 4. Stimulate. Next, skip that so we can get going here. This is the part that students have a hard time with, so I wanted to show you this. So it gives you the instructions here. Basically, it's telling you over here at the time, you're going to click the plus button. Oh, sorry, you have to click measure first. Here we go. So first click measure, and then over here on the time, you're going to click the plus sign button, and you'll see that yellow line move. And you're going to line it up just where the graph begins to increase. So right there where that tracing begins to go on the upslope for the muscle tension. Okay, so then record data. Okay, so now for your 4, So you have voltage 4, you have active force 1.32, and now we have a latent period 2.8. Okay, clear tracings. Then increase the voltage by 2, so you would go up to 6, stimulate, measure, move it to where it, sometimes it's hard to tell, it's right there, record data. Okay, so then 6, 1.65, and 2.8. Okay, and then it will tell you to repeat this step until you reach 10 volts. So you'll also record for 8 and 10. And then you only have one question to answer for that. So that's that. Let me know if you have any questions. Thanks.